Hey, this is Greg with PNW Enduro. Today I'm going to be comparing the 2021 KTM 300XC-W Erzberg edition to the 2021 Sherco 300SE factory. So the KTM cost $11,500 and the Sherco cost $10,500 MSRP. I'm going to show you what you get for your money with each brand. Now keep in mind, I don't sell KTM and I don't sell Sherco, so this is just the facts. Alright, let's take a look at this shiny new 300XC-W Erzberg edition. What do we get with this bike? So first off, it's got wraparound handguards, but they don't mount to the bars. So this is probably something you're going to want to upgrade. It's nice to have wraparounds, but if you really want a strong wraparound, you're going to want it mounted to the bar. It's also made out of plastic, so a little bit suspect with that. It does come with tugger straps, front and rear. That's really good to have. So that's about a $50 value with the tugger straps. KTM advertises that this bike comes with rad guards, but it really just comes with the plastic louvers like all the other bikes. So I wouldn't say that really counts. This bike has got bulletproof designs, rad guards added on. Front rotor guard. This is just flimsy plastic. Maybe it's going to keep your rotor cleaner, but it's not going to keep it from getting damaged, so I'm not really going to count that as an upgrade. The bike does come with a fan. That is definitely a significant upgrade, especially on a TPI bike where you're going to want to run a fan all the time. So good value right there in that fan kit. Little bit of bling here with the orange oil filler cap. Looks nice, but not really anything that adds function. It does have upgraded clamps over the standard XC-W. So these are billet and they're orange for the bling as well, but it is a bit of an upgrade. I will give it that. You're also getting the orange hubs and higher quality sprocket than the standard XC-W, so that's nice there. Also up front you have this guard here. This piece here has been added on. This is the TPS sensor guard. It's good to have these on TPI bikes, but as you can see, that's an aftermarket item. So this bike does come with a skid plate. It's a plastic skid plate. It's a little bit thin. I don't know if it's one I would keep on the bike permanently, but it does come with a skid plate. So as with XC-W models, it has the trip computer. I really like having the trip computers on the bike. And of course, headlight and tail light. A couple more upgrades, pretty significant, is the rear rotor guard. That's an add-on that I always put on bikes nowadays. It's got a nice KTM brand one on here, definitely adds value, and then the solid rotor, also a little bit of an upgrade from a regular rotor. One more OEM KTM piece is the swing arm tab protector. It's a really good design on this one, and it's a key thing to have when you're riding in the rocks in hard enduro. Moving on to the Sherco. So what did we get for our money with the Sherco? $1,000 less for the Sherco. So it also has a fan. It's nice to have the fan on there. It does come with an AXP Racing skid plate. I did upgrade it to this one because it has the linkage protection and it's also a little thicker. The skid plate that it comes with is pretty good, but I wanted that linkage protection, so I could have added on just the tail for about $50, but AXP hooked me up with this one full piece, so I upgraded to that one instead. So the rear rotor guard it does not come with, so this is a Tusk Racing one that is about $50 to add that on there, like the KTM solid rotor. So this bike came with just flag style hand guards, so I added on the Tusk full wrap guards. And I also added the rad protection, the same bulletproof designs, radiator guards. No tugger straps on this one, so I had to buy tugger straps, about $50 for the set. Also getting the trip computer and the headlight, and this did have a tail light on there, but I removed it because it's just too easy to break the tail lights. On the Sherco, I added the bulletproof designs. Swing arm tab protector, that's about $90. I also added the AXP Racing chain guide. I actually had the stock one on there of my first ride, and I broke the stock one in about 3 hours, so I would say that is a necessary upgrade for this bike. If you look at the plastics here on the frame protection, it comes all the way up to the top, right up to your gas tank. If I go over here and look at the KTM. It's a little bit of a miss on the design here. Maybe they kind of cheaped out a little bit. But right here, you're going to rub your boots. You're going to rub all that paint off the frame, all that nice orange powder coat. So it would be nicer if that came up to the top like on the Sherco. So in the past, these KTM special edition bikes seem to be more bling than any value added parts, in my opinion. But this Erzberg edition, it does have some good stuff on it that is very useful. The skid plate is nice to have. The fan, that's huge to have the fan. Upgraded clamps is nice. Upgraded sprocket is nice, and having the rear rotor guard is also a good upgrade that I'd be putting on there anyway. So there is value in this, but is it worth an extra $1,000 over a standard XC-W? So with the KTM Erzberg edition, when it comes to parts that have been added on that add value to this bike that I would be upgrading anyways, it's about $450 worth of parts. Parts that are still missing that I would be adding on are the TPS guard and the rad guards. So that's about another $300. Now, one thing I didn't touch on is suspension. The Sherco comes with KYB suspension front and back, and it's widely known as the best stock suspension you can get on a dirt bike. Now, the KTM has WP suspension, which I think is pretty good these days. So whether you need to upgrade that or not is a topic for another discussion. So the biggest difference between these two bikes is the KTM is fuel injected TPI, and the Sherco is a carbureted bike. So $1,000 difference in price. You get TPI, fuel injection, and carburetor. But here's the thing. I did put a smart carb on this bike, and the reason I put that on there is to get fuel injected like performance. I can ride any elevation and not have to make any adjustments, and I also get better fuel economy. So that right there is a $700 upgrade. So now all of a sudden your $1,000 price difference is really a $300 price difference. So we're getting pretty close here and what you get on each bike. So both of them, great bikes, good value. Depends what you want. They definitely perform differently when you ride them. A fuel injected two-stroke just feels different, but there's good and bad points to both of them. The Sherco's a little more simple. It doesn't have a bunch of sensors like the TPI bike, but I do have to add the smart carb to get it kind of on the same playing field, in my opinion anyways. I ride a lot of different elevations here in the West, so it's key to have that smart carb on there.